Hello, good morning dear students. I am G.A.P assigned to you for applied mechanics subject in electrical first semester. Applied mechanics subject will be covered in theory as well as in practical. For theory you have to purchase the book Applied Mechanics by Dr. A.K. Upadhyay. By Mr. A.K. Upadhyay, this is the book which we recommend for applied mechanics. Applied Mechanics by A.K. Upadhyay. Publisher S.K. Kataria and Sons. This is the applied mechanics theory book. For practical, we will cover from the book itself. Same book will serve the purpose. And today is the very first class for first semester electrical. Applied mechanics subject is the basic or extension of, we can say, a little bit extension of physics portion. Applied mechanics, the branch of science which deals with study of action of forces on body. What are the effects produced by forces? This all we discuss in the applied mechanics. Forces, what are the various effects? Force can move a body, force can stop a body, or whatever, the various application of forces. Then after that, applied mechanics, the branch of engineering which deals with the application of different laws of mechanics for the solution of various engineering problems. Importance of applied mechanics, branch of applied mechanics. Applied mechanics basic has two branches, statics and dynamics. Statics, when the body is not in motion, body is at rest, and we are studying that body without considering the motion. And dynamics, it is a branch of applied mechanics which deals with the motion of the body when bodies are in motion. A rigid body, this is a basic introduction chapter. Rigid body is solid body which does not change its shape by application of forces, but in real practice there is no real body, no rigid body is possible, because when we increase the force beyond a certain limit, it will definitely decrease. But we consider rigid body which within our limits, which maintain its shape and size. For design point of purpose, we will call it rigid body. Under the design load, it will not change its shape and size. That body will be considered as solid body, rigid body. Then difference between mass and weight. These are basic things which we already know. Mass is constant throughout the universe, but weight, that varies from position to position depending upon the gravity at that point. Weight will change. Difference between mass and weight is very well elaborated in the book. We must go through that. Then scalar and vector quantities. Scalar and vector quantities, we have the idea. The things which we has magnitude as well as direction are vector quantities, and the things which don't have any direction, only magnitude is attached with them, is the scalar quantity. Weight, mass is a scalar quantity, but force is a vector quantity. Force has two things, magnitude as well as direction, in which direction force is acting. Force is acting in east direction, north direction, at some specific angle, point of application. That is the main criteria. Vector quantities have magnitude as well as direction. Scalar has only magnitude with them. Types of units and system of units: FPS, CGS, MKS, SI. These are the main systems which we must have clear cut idea between. FPS, feet, pound and seconds. CGS, centigram, centimeter, gram and seconds. MKS, meter, kilogram, seconds. And SI system. Basically, applied mechanics deals with laws of forces. What are the effects produced by forces on the body? What are the various effects of forces on the body? Force can break body, force can move a body, force can stop a body, force can be push type, force can be pull type. We can push a body, we can pull a body. Direction will be changed. Push and pull are in the opposite nature. Then laws of forces will be discussed. I have some characters. Everything in the world has some characters attached to it. And G.A.P. lecturer for applied mechanics attached to electrical first semester. I have some characters. Similarly, force is also characterized by few items. 3-4 items are very must to determine the force. Magnitude of force, the first quantity, magnitude of force. What is the amount of magnitude force has? 5 Newton, 10 Newton. Then direction, in which direction it is acting. The force is acting in which horizontal direction, vertical direction, north direction, south, east, whatever be. This force can also act at some specific angle. Sense, push or pull, and point of application, where the force is applied for a particular thing. That is the point of application. Representation of force. Force is a vector quantity. It can be shown by vector. Vector representation are the Bose notation. Bose notation is a method of representing the force with a line by mentioning AB force in this direction, PC force in this direction. Line to above we mention A and B. This can be clockwise or anti-clockwise. AB ऐसे भी हो सकता है और A नीचे भी आ सकता है, B ऊपर भी आ सकता है. AB force or AB force, whatever. They are very clear cut in the book. Types of forces: tensile forces, compressive forces, shear forces. Tensile forces, which has the tendency to increase the length of body. We pull the body, length will increase. Compressive force. Tensile force affect this. Then compressive force. Compressive force is the when length will decrease. Shear force, when two horizontal surfaces have deformed at some specific angles, theta deformation is there. Principle of transmissibility. Action and reaction. To each and every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This is the basic introduction about applied mechanics. For theory and for practical, we have to perform some 7-8 practicals related to applied mechanics. That we will start later on. First 1-2 weeks we will concentrate on the theory portion of the applied mechanics, and the basic laws of forces and polygon law of forces, parallelogram law of forces, polygon law of forces, parallelogram law of forces, triangle law of forces. They are the main law of forces. And next to that, in the meantime, you will get some notes for theory as well as for practical. Practical notes you must maintain on the practical copy itself. Practical copy, I will show you the practical copy for applied mechanics, which we already use for physics. One side is plane and one side is lines. This is applied mechanics copy. Whatever written material you receive, you please note it down on the applied mechanics practical copy. Observation table on white page, and readings we will suggest you according to the time what readings you should fill, and how the calculation will be performed will be discussed later on. Laws of forces is the maximum portion for applied mechanics, because applied mechanics deals with the effects of forces. Effect of forces, when there are more than two or three forces acting on a point, then you will find the net resultant of the force. What is the net effect of that force on that body? That will be known as resultant of force. Resultant of force, it means the sum or total effect of 2, 3, 4, 5 forces, whatever be the number of forces acting on a body, that will produce some net effect. That net effect is known as the resultant of the forces. And the basic beginning of applied mechanics is the how to find out the resultant of various forces. For example, there are three forces. We have to find out the resultant of these three forces or four forces, whatever be the number of forces. But resultant force is a single force with single magnitude and in a specific direction. So that is the resultant of the various forces. Similarly, we can resolve a single force in two parts. Single force acting at some angle, it can be resolved in horizontal as well as in vertical direction. For all this, we will provide you the notes in the coming lectures with for your more clarifications, how to find out the resultant of forces, how to find out the resultant of forces, and how to resolve a single force into different two components. A single force can be resolved into two forces, and 3-4 forces combined into a single force. One is known as resultant, one and another portion is known as resolution of the force. We are resolving the force into two parts. So this is the basically all about the introduction regarding applied mechanics, and similarly we will provide you the detailed copy. I had shown them applied mechanics copy we have to make as per the notes provided. We will time to time we will provide you the notes and give you the instructions, but first 2 weeks we will concentrate on the theory portion only. Thank you very much. Okay.